Hey there. Welcome to Rhyme Remarks. I'm Colby Ackerman. I'm a software enthusiast and a web and game developer. This is my full stack, single page application written using vanilla JavaScript, MongoDB, Express, and Parcel. The core functionality of this website was inspired primarily by Genius.com. You can find songs and read comments at the bottom, or click on different lyrical chunks to gain insight into the meaning. Similarly, Rhyme Remarks is a site for finding poems that allows for user-to-user interaction via reviews and remarks. I'm going to take you through my process creating it and demonstrate some of its features. I worked with a team of 5 in an agile environment using Jira as our ticketing system. Each team member had their own individual project, but because all projects shared the same architecture, we were able to create somewhat abstract tickets that applied to everyone individually. We had stand-up meetings every other day or so, and 2-week sprints. At the beginning of each sprint, we story-pointed our tasks, and our project progress closely mirrored the pace set by our assigned tickets each sprint. To begin the project, I created an outline in Markdown detailing my vision of Rhyme Remarks, taking note of my target audience and project objectives, to create a website that helps users better understand and appreciate poetry. I documented information like color palette, fonts, image assets, and text content for each page to eliminate guesswork down the line. Mural helped me document user stories, and then I translated those into flow diagrams to assist with the programming. I also created a SWOT analysis in order to better understand some of the strengths and weaknesses of my program, the worst of which being my lovely programmer art skills. To create mockups and wireframes, I used Figma. There's a mockup for each page in desktop and mobile mode. Once everything was planned to the best of my ability, it was time to begin programming, but first, I would like to lightly detail the overall architecture of the program. As stated before, this is a vanilla JavaScript single-page application. Navigo is being used as the front-end router, which has lifecycle hook capabilities. Stateful data is stored in the store directory as much as possible. That is, any data that must persist through render and reload calls. Views and components are exported functions which return an HTML tag template literal. Each view in the views directory is treated as a page and composed of different components in the components directory. Any logic applied after the render function is called through the view or page level hook that is registered to Navigo, and the components export methods to be called within those registered methods. The after hook is the primary hook being used. I chose not to utilize the before hook and instead opted to directly put any before logic, typically some sort of network data fetch, at the top of the relevant component. Components which implement event listeners have an exported function below the default export, which is quote-unquote registered in the view or its parent component. Three APIs are utilized in order to make the magic happen, 2 of which are third-party integrations. There's PoetryDB and Free Dictionary API. More on these later. And one is made in-house to persist custom data. An Express.js server was plugged into a MongoDB Atlas database and built out in a RESTful manner. Nothing fancy here, just some typical boilerplate middleware, and then routes organized into Express router objects and CRUD endpoints created as needed. Mongoose ODM, or Object Document Mapper, made building database queries quick and easy. Alright, let's see everything in action. We'll start back at the landing page. Just some welcome text with 0 dynamic content. All it does is outline some of the things to do on the site. Here we have the About page, This is another mostly static page. You can read a bit about who I am, where I'm from, and what I like. I've also linked some other personal projects that I'm working on via an iframe. This is the contact page. Users can send messages to site admins by using the form. Currently, the only way for admins to read the messages is by directly inspecting the database, but in the future, I'd like to build a live data dashboard with web components and Socket.io. So I would either put feedback messages in that or hook up some email functionality. Here's the main content of the website, the poem page. When a user loads the page, a random poem is loaded from the PoetryDB API. There are a number of things to do here. For starters, users can click the search button in the top right to find a poem by title and author. All the features are rudimentary implementations, and this one is no exception. There's no autocomplete, searches must be exact. The poem itself is interactive, and there are 3 basic actions one can perform. If a user clicks on a word while it's highlighted, then a free dictionary API call is made to pull up the definition. Next, we have the reviews button by the rating stars. The stars above the poem show the average rating across all users who have submitted a review. When the reviews link button is clicked, then a draft is opened which allows the user to express their thoughts and rating about the poem. Finally, we have remarks. These are basically comments about individual lines or pieces of the poem. When the user highlights a line in the poem, then another draft is revealed which allows a user to submit a comment about the highlighted text. Reviews and remarks are stored in the Mongo database. The final page is the compose page. Here, users can creatively express themselves and submit their work to the database to be considered for inclusion into the pool of random poems. Just make a title, write a body, and sign your name or pseudonym, and send it off to be reviewed. First, I'd like to say thank you to Savvy Coders in St. Louis, Missouri for all their support along the way. I had fun creating rhyme remarks, but there's still a lot unfinished. Autocomplete on poem search and smart highlights for the remarks would be a great way to improve the user experience. It could be interesting to add some sort of AI voiceover that reads the poem aloud as well. Maybe this could be helpful for students of the English language, or just for fun for native speakers. Another huge missing feature is some sort of comment reply system for thread creation inside of the remarks and the reviews. Seeing how this is only an MVP, I think it demonstrates the ideas of the project pretty well, while leaving lots of room for improvement. Perhaps a skilled designer could envision an improved coat of paint, and all the fancy features could be added, thus elevating the site into the masses of poetry enthusiasts. More likely, though, it'll remain in obscurity, having already served its purpose as a fun practice project to me. Thanks for watching.